First impressions, body language, vocal tone, interpersonal behavior, all of those things that help you with influence in the workplace. In this particular video, we're going to be exploring a really fun topic where we talk about managing your first impressions, increasing your professional influence. So we're going to be talking about managing first impressions, managing body language, managing your appearance, just touching on a few of those exciting things, vocal tone. Hi, I'm Kobi Simmat. This is the summary of 20 years of my experience in my professional career. One of the soft skills, which is a really exciting topic to be talking about, that complements everything we do here at Best Practice. So welcome to this month's live webinar where we're talking about some of the complementary elements that you can add into your professional skills and at least summarize or go back and have a think about how they contribute every day to give you the opportunity to maximize the work that you're doing for the organization. Here at Best Practice, we're really excited to be helping companies to grow, to be helping you to be more profitable, more efficient, safer, more environmentally friendly, managing your risks. And the way we do that is we work with organizations like you, we work with people like you, and I do that every day. I'm thinking every day about how I can help you enhance your performance. And in this instance, it's all about our huge mission to help inspire improvement in 100 million companies around the world. And we're well on our way to doing that, which is really exciting. The YouTube channel's doing really. You can comment in two places. So depending on where you're watching, if you're watching on the broadcast via YouTube, or if you're watching in our community, in our training academy, you can comment in both those places. So obviously on the YouTube channel, with your logged in with your Gmail account, or in the community, if you haven't got the facility to comment, log in using Facebook, and that will give you there's a little Facebook plugin that you have yourself that'll give you the ability to comment. I've got three amazing people here in the room helping me with the webinar today. They're monitoring what's going on with the comments and be answering questions and then feeding those to me. And we've obviously also got our team outside here at Best Practice, as we always do, monitoring our live chat. So if you can't get a question or a comment to us through either YouTube or through the community in our training academy, you can jump onto bestpracticecertification.com.au or bestpracticeeducation.com.au, and there's a live chat, little pop-up that comes up in the bottom of your screen. It'll be down here somewhere, it'll pop up in your screen, and it'll give you the opportunity to post comments, and I'll scurry on in here and feed your question to me. So, I'm Kobi Simmat. If you haven't met me before, I'm the CEO here at Best Practice, and really excited to be talking to you about a soft skills topic, which is managing your first impressions. So, I've got a question for you guys, and I want to comment from you guys. Even if you're watching the recording of this webinar afterwards, comment below or comment wherever you can and let me know, have you ever had any training on managing your first impressions? And I'm going to get into some theory in a minute. There's a couple of studies that we're going to be talking about. But I want you to tell me, do you ever think about when you're preparing yourself for work each day, or even preparing yourself for a work phone call? I've got a phone call tonight at 8 p.m. with a colleague in another country, so we're trying to manage time zones. Do we prepare ourselves for the first impressions? Even if we know the person and we maybe haven't seen or spoken to the person for a long period of time, we're always going to be having the initial first impression, and then that impression when we meet someone, we see maybe we haven't seen them for 6 months or 12 months. They're going to keep coming up. So I want you to be thinking about that. And let me know, have you had any training, yes or no? Quick, simple answer to a question, yes or no. Have you had any training, formal training on first impressions? Now, I'm not going to be plugging that. You guys know with these webinars, I'm not going to be plugging that stuff today. There's no extra training course that we've built. All the content's right here in this webinar for you. I'm just interested to know a bit of a survey. Okay, second thing that I want you to answer a question and be honest. Do you think about the impressions that you're going to be making on people with what you choose in terms of your outfit, and your outlook on life for a particular day? So you're choosing the mood that you're in and choosing your outfit each day to have and manage first impressions on the different people that you have to work with, the colleagues that you work with in your organization, as management people, management organization, management consultants or professionals in our organizations. We're trying to influence every day. We're trying to improve an area that we're responsible for in an organization or work in our area of responsibility. We're doing that every day we're making those first impressions, and it's something that obviously and often goes unnoticed, and it's something that I've been looking at more recently with our team here. And this training today is as much for our team internally in Best Practice as it is for you. And I thought I'd cover the topic. We've been covering it a little bit and touching on it here at Best Practice with our own team. And I thought, you know what? It's something that's going to help you guys. So let's get into it. Next question for you. What was the first time that you met me or saw me on YouTube or one of these webinars or was introduced to me? What was your first impression of me? And I'm interested to get that feedback. Like, rip shreds off me if you need to, but what's your first impression of me? And I want to start to unpack that. Maybe you could start thinking about, well, what was my attitude? How was I dressed? What was your impression of me the first time you met me? And let's use me as the case study. Got pretty thick skin. You might have gone, you know what, this guy's, he's loud, he's obnoxious, he makes a lot of noise and he's full of hot air. Then that may well have been your first impression of me. I was like, oh my God, this guy's got energy, he's excited, he's enthusiastic. Those are the sorts of things that, have a think about that comment. What was your first impression? Because I want you guys to be starting to think about that yourself. So let me know in the comments. So where have we got people watching from? Okay, we've got some people in Brookvale, great. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always a bit of fun to know where people are watching from around the world. And even if you're watching the recording, comment against the recording. There's a comment section there when you're watching the recording after the event or you're watching it now live. Let me know where you're watching from. Okay. Yes, I am bouncy and enthusiastic. Hello, Chris in Brisbane. It's definitely, the guys have just given me a screen so I can see the comments. So thanks, guys. Definitely bouncy and enthusiastic. And I guess the first thing in terms of managing first impressions is probably the thing that I want to talk about. And we haven't run any formal training on this before. We're just summarizing thoughts to put this webinar together for you. The first thing I choose every day is I use this analogy. Life is like a radio station or a radio. You can choose which channel you want to tune into. And I choose each day to be enthusiastic. Yes, of course, I have my down days. Last night at 11 o'clock, everybody the house goes to sleep and everybody's asleep. And then my 8-year-old son is up and absolutely bawling his eyes out, standing beside the bed. It's pitch black. All I can hear is loud crying. 11 o'clock last night, and it took a good hour and a half to get him to settle down. He'd obviously had some sort of nightmare and getting back to bed. And so realistically, we're not getting to bed. Getting back to sleep until 1 p.m. and then up at 5 o'clock. This morning I was up at 4:30, trying to do some study and reading and get through a really exciting book I'm reading at the moment. And it's really tough. Fatigue is a big issue, and fatigue can affect your tone. However, I make the decision to go, you know what, I'm going to have I do have a lot of energy, and I know that I do have a lot of energy, but it's something that I want you guys to be thinking about. Even though there's all that shit going on in life, we have got something that we need to project. We've got a job to do. We've got to get on with it. We've got people that rely on us in all aspects of everything that's going on in our life, particularly at work. We need to make that decision to be the best we can be our best self. Now, I just want to go through a couple of things. Now, we've developed a guide. We've put together a quick guide for you on mastering first impressions with the subtle art of body language. And this is going to be available. We'll get the link for you guys at the end of this presentation. We're opening up a Facebook group, and I'll talk about that shortly, where I'm going to be helping you guys. We're just going to move some of the conversation into a more regular touch point. So we'll get you guys to join a Facebook group. At the end of this session, we'll give you the link, and in that Facebook group, we're going to give everybody access to this particular document. But what I just want to talk to you about is first impressions and some of the theory and history and those sorts of things around first impressions. Now, how long does it take to make a first impression? Like, how long have you got to make a first impression on someone when you meet them? Now, there's lots of spitballing, there's lots of talk about it. You've got 3 seconds or 4 seconds. Your first impression, that's when it's made with somebody when you meet them. And that may have been, in the first 3 or 4 seconds of the very first video that you watched of ours, of this particular YouTube channel, you might have gone, yes, Kobi's enthusiastic, yes, he's bouncy, yes, he's got a lot of energy, he's confident, all those sorts of things. I know, lots of people give me that feedback, but my ego doesn't say those things. I doubt myself a lot. But it's what I choose to project. It's how I move myself into my future state, if you like. But in terms of first impressions, you've got 3 or 4 seconds, and that's been the anecdotal adage, if you like, that you need to make your first impressions. Now, the reality is that you have got 5 seconds. There's been a Harvard study that's been prepared, and we'll try and drag out that study. I think, Alexi, you found a link to that, did you?
Yeah, I can get it.
So Alexi's got the link to the study. We'll drop the link. Actually, if you wouldn't mind dropping a link in the comments there, in the YouTube comments, that'd be great, to the Harvard study. The link is available in the document, I think. So the link to the Harvard study, they did the research and they said, and it's only recent, I think it's only in the last 15 years, that you've got literally 5 seconds to make your first impression. And that's what happens. Because there is a human condition, and my parents did it. It's not just an Australian thing, it's not an American thing, it's not just a Chinese thing, it's not just an Indian thing, it's all cultures. It's consistent across all cultures, and that's what the Harvard study found, is that humans, and it goes back to our caveman days, if we want to talk about that, right back to history, where there's a situation and we needed to make a really quick, in seconds, 1, 2, 3 seconds, like we walked around a corner, there was a saber-toothed tiger. We walked around a corner and there's an enormous dinosaur, if you like, that's literally, is it A, food for us, or is B, we're food for them? And that's the fight or flight, it's an evolution of the fight or flight syndrome that we talk about. And we have evolved as the apex predator on this planet because we've had that intuition to build out that first impression. And so while we've moved away from those situations where we don't have to every single day look out for our own life and the survival of the species, what we do is we judge situations, and we can't stop doing it as humans, and it's been proven that that's the case. As much as you can say I'm a well-balanced, mindful person and I don't judge books by its cover, we all do it. We rip people apart, we compartmentalize them, we overlay situations that have happened in our life, negative experiences, positive experiences. We look at their outfit, we smell them, we hear them, we sense their temperature, we judge their character, we look at their posture, and we tear them completely apart, put them back together, and leave a judgment, tag, imprint on that person's face, based on all that emotional baggage that we're carrying from our life, positive baggage and negative baggage, and that is the first impression. So we need to be very, very careful on the projection side. I need to be very careful, you need to be very careful, that when we're going into situations, while we might choose a particular projection of ourselves from an energy and emotional and presentation perspective, we are going to be playing with fire at the receiving end, and we are going to be judged. And there is nothing that you can do about it. The Harvard study has proven that there's nothing that you can do about the receiving end. You can't change the receiving end. What you can do is you can manage very professionally the message that you send. And so then what we start to see in workplaces, and if you take a step back and look around the workplace that you're in, is we start to see normalization. And this is slowly starting to change, as particularly in Western societies, it's starting to change in terms of accepted work attire, accepted work ethic, workplaces, workspaces, and we're starting to investigate and improve the management of those first impressions. But it's something that starts with you the minute that you wake up in the morning. Now, what you've got in a workplace situation, I want to start giving you some theory here, and now's the time to write some notes. If you've got your notepad handy, quickly grab some sticky notes or a bit of paper and a pen. You've literally got in my opinion, less than 5 seconds to do 3 things. And the 3 things are, this is someone you're meeting for the first time, or somebody you haven't seen for a couple of years, they haven't been following you on social media, they're not seeing you every day. You've got 3 to 4 seconds to do this. The first thing is establish yourself as an authority in your given field. Establish that you're keen, you're enthusiastic, you're sharp as a tack, and you're willing to go above and beyond in your delivery of your product or service. Now, if you're internal in your organization, it's your service to others in your organization. It's not necessarily a sales thing, and yes, we do draw some of this theory content from sales training, but you guys in your roles, if you're a general manager or a systems manager or someone working in an organization and you've got a logistics role, you're dealing maybe with suppliers or you're dealing with customers and you're in an operational type role in the organization, you've got to be keen, enthusiastic, willing to go above and beyond in the delivery of your service, your gift, if you like, to others. And the third thing is demonstrate that you're intelligent and more than willing to open yourself up to new things. You've literally got 3 to 4 seconds to do that. Be an authority in your given field, in your given area, in your organization, or for your customers or for your suppliers. Keen, enthusiastic, and willing to go above and beyond in your delivery of product or service, and intelligent and more than willing to open yourself up to new things. Now, what I'm going to say to you is if we have got 3 to 4 seconds to do that, that is literally like this long. You ready? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. You've literally got that long to do those 3 things. I can tell you right now, there is no script, no set of words that you can assemble to actually do that. There is absolutely not. There is nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing you can say in 3 to 4 seconds to do that. So we need to think back to that situation. Think back to you're living in a cave. You've gone out. You've done your hunting. You've got your dinner. Your little kids are tucked away in the cave and protected by the rock on the outside. And in your caveman days, if you like, you've literally got 3 to 4 seconds to see somebody coming at you from another tribe. You've literally got to do that. So what do we need to do? We've got to use our body language and our appearance. And we can now start to go back and look at cultural history and look at the festivals and celebrations in cultures and what people do from a warrior perspective and from a celebration perspective and a ceremony and a tradition perspective around the projections in those situations and how we dress, how we dance, maybe how we act, how we hold ourselves. So what I want to get into now is spend some time to just challenge ourselves to reset the first impressions that we're setting and reset and rethink and develop a very specific strategy. So before I go into it, I want to just tell you a story about my morning this morning. So off the back of Harley being awake in the middle of the night and crying and having a nightmare, waking up this morning, and I have a very set schedule that I go through in the morning. The time changes, but the schedule stays the same. And the schedule is essentially this. It's wake up, it's bounce out of bed. I try to bounce. I'm starting to get old and I'm starting to get a little bit stiff in the mornings, but bounce out of bed, do some reading and study. So I make myself a cup of tea, I do some reading and study, and then I go for a walk or do some exercise. I come back, I have breakfast, and then I get into my day. And then I start to think about my outfit. Now, obviously, you're watching a lot of these videos. I have my go-to uniform. I'm basically promoting the Best Practice brand, and so I have these shirts. We have these shirts here for the business. They're part of our uniform here at Best Practice. But there's a couple of other things that I do. And you see me constantly in my outfit in terms of what I do. The first thing that I do after I've ironed my shirt is I roll my sleeves up. Now, that's 2 things. I like to roll my sleeves up because I like to get into an organization and get my hands dirty. Now, probably the work that I do nowadays is not as dirty as it used to be, where I might have been on a building site, laboring, pulling things apart, helping people, understanding what's going on. Nowadays, it's more like in an office, but I still have this habit every day of rolling my sleeves up, and it's very rare for me to wear a long sleeve shirt with the collar all the way to my wrist. Now, why am I talking about this? It's a habit for me and it's a routine for me. Now, it may not give the best first impression to somebody if I'm going to be selling them on something. But what it does do is people very quickly acknowledge that, why has he got his sleeves rolled up? And this is your subconscious at the back saying, this guy's got his sleeves rolled up. Someone who rolls their sleeves up is a hard worker, if that makes sense. And that's more likely to be the emotional baggage that you're carrying subconsciously than the guy's got his sleeves rolled up, he's ready to have a boxing match, if that makes sense. Because it's very rare that you see somebody with a shirt like this with their sleeves rolled up that is actually in a fight. I probably would have a singlet on, for example, or no shirt on, take my shirt off, take my jacket off, right, I'm ready for a boxing match. And so on the scale of probabilities, it's something that I want you to be thinking about. When you choose your outfit in the morning, I want you to be thinking about, of all the people that I'm going to meet today that I've never met before, what will be their first impression if they're in the absolute scale of, from a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being a positive impression, 0 being a negative, most likely it will be negative. What will be their impression of me? They're going to see me in this outfit. What other sorts of people wear this outfit, and is my best chance at influencing them in the interaction or the meeting or the conversation or the work with them that I'm going to be doing, am I wearing the right thing to be getting the outcomes that I want that are going to help me get the things I want out of life? And I will say that 95% of you out there watching and the people in this business don't make that conscious decision and then don't have that success each day. And so that's something that I'm inspired to help you guys to think about very clearly. It's time to raise the bar. For everybody out there, it's time to raise the bar and start to say, okay, how do I need to look? Now, the other thing that I do, it's just one of my little nuanced things, is I choose belt buckles, and I'm obviously a belt buckle and boots guy. I choose belt buckles that are shiny and polished. And it's hard to see on the camera on this particular one, but if you can see the light reflecting, not necessarily this color belt, but I always choose a belt buckle because subconsciously the people that I'm working with, they'll be like, actually, that's well looked after, it's well kept, it's well maintained. He takes pride in his appearance. If he takes pride in his appearance, he will take pride in the other things he does in life, and he will take pride in the work that he's going to be helping me with. So those are the sorts of things that I'm doing from being an authority in your field, I'll talk about that in a second, keen, enthusiastic and willing to go above and beyond, and then intelligent and more willing to open yourself up to new things. Now, this is where there is a significant shift happening from a first impressions perspective in the marketplace. There is a significant shift in the establishment as an authority in your field. Nowadays, it's highly likely that you will be stalked on social media when someone knows they're going to meet you. So there's two types of new meetings where you're going to have first impressions. The first one is going to be, oh, you just bumped into somebody, they walked into the office for a meeting, they didn't know they were going to see you. Hi, you're out networking, you're meeting people. Hello, this is Kobi from Best Practice. This is George from such and such company. And you meet, and it's a chance meeting. But then there's the organized meetings, and this is where life starts to get challenging. You will get stalked on social media, and every single day, the likelihood of that is significantly increasing at a graph that is starting to go very steep. And I do this with every single person that I'm going to meet. If I know in advance, I will have a look at their LinkedIn profile, their Twitter profile, their Instagram profile, their Facebook profile, and I will Google them, and that can take me no more than about 3 or 4 minutes. And so my first impression of that person is going to be, when I meet them, is going to be biased by what I'm starting to see from a social media perspective. And I'll just give you a marketing example. People coming in here to Best Practice in the past, pitching me on maybe a redesign of our website or helping us with social media. Well, I'm like, if they're going to be helping me with social media and they want to do social media, they better be fucking good at their own Instagram. And I apologize for swearing. But that's what I'm talking about. And then they will come in and they will pitch me and they've got nothing on themselves. They're like, we're going to help you, we're an authority in our field, we're the best, but we've got nothing. I'm digressing and I'm getting a little bit off track, but I want you to start to understand, and we've talked in some of these webinars about social media, that it is important to have congruency in your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, the things you're doing in life, because that becomes your public profile. And you guys can Google me and you'll see that I have an enormous digital footprint. And so I want you guys to understand that that is going to start to influence first impressions. Okay, and the last one is around the middle one's around keen, enthusiastic, willing to go above and beyond, intelligent, and more than willing to open yourself up. And so that's going to come with your posture, and I'm going to get into that in a second as we have a look at a couple of slides. We'll get the guys to start lining the slides up for us. We want to be thinking about our posture, thinking about our enthusiasm, and that goes back to the adage of I choose each day to be happy, energetic, enthusiastic. I could choose to be depressed, but it's going to be a shit day. It's going to be boring. I don't want to be depressed all day. I want to be happy, so I just choose to be happy. And so I do things in the morning that set me up to have a great day. I know that today I added knowledge to myself that is helping you. I am using some of the knowledge that I read this morning, and I'm implementing it right now to help you guys have a better outcome in your life. Help us have a better outcome from our business. Help us grow our business. Help our business to be more successful. And by and large, that's ultimately my goal as all of us in the workplace is to help our families. We all come into our workplaces to work and collect money to take back to our families to go on with our lifestyles and our lives that we choose to live. So I want you to be thinking about, that's the objective here. That's how this all ties together. Okay, so I've got to do that by being happy, confident, enthusiastic, and high energy. Now, what's really interesting is some of you might say, actually, let's do a quick survey in the comments. How many cups of coffee do you think that I have had today? Now, some of you have, people at best practice are not allowed to comment here, not part of the competition. I will give away right now to the person that gets this right from in the comments, live here in the webinar, 1 hour with me online, how many coffees have I had today? And you've got to be outside best practice. I'll give you some free coaching. You can ask me any question. I will help you with anything that you want some help with from a professional perspective. I'll give you 1 hour of my time. We'll jump on a Zoom call or on a Skype call or FaceTime. We'll organise that. I will give it to the person in the comments in the next 15 to 20 minutes who can answer the question, how many coffees I've had today.
Ashley.
The first person to get it right, well done Ashley, 0 coffees. How does this guy do this? Now, how many, or well done Chris. Actually, I'll give Ashley and Chris, I'll give you both some time on a Zoom call, well done.
Oh, Lexi.
Well done. Lexi, you've spotted it, but Ashley was in there first. Well done Ashley, and Chris, I'll give that to you, both of you. So, exactly right. So, right here, cup of tea. So this morning I've had orange pico tea, I've had a chai tea, and I've got half a cup of orange pico tea here that's slowly going cold. But that's correct. So I made a decision 2.5 weeks ago to give up coffee. I have a personal health issue with blood pressure that I'm trying to manage. And so, right, that's it for coffee for me. I might have 1 good coffee a month. So there you go. Well done. Congratulations to you guys. So from that perspective, I am naturally energetic. I am naturally enthusiastic. And right now, in this moment, I am doing the thing that I love to do the most, which is help you guys and talk about this. So I bring that to my first impressions. And so when we're managing our first impressions and mastering our first impressions, it does help to be doing things you love to do and doing a job that you love to do. It's going to be really tough for you if you're going into a shit situation or a shit job or a shit day, and it's something that you hate doing and you don't really want to be doing it because it's going to project on people. And so what we want to be thinking, I'm going to digress again for a couple of seconds. Picture yourself walking down the street and there's someone walking to you and they look really sad. There's tears streaming down their face. They look really sad and they're not feeling great. And I'll get into those slides in a minute, Jack, and I'll talk about that. You can already see yourself feeling sad. Imagine seeing me walking down the street. I'm going to see your face. Your face is going to light up because there's Kobi. We might never have met face to face. I'm going to see the enthusiasm in your face. Then that's going to light up my face. And you can already picture we're both going to feel enthusiastic and really excited. Okay, stop digressing, Kobi. Let's get on to the next slide. Thanks, Jack. I want to just have a look at these pictures. So we want to just quickly talk about this. The first one obviously being confidence. We look at the people here in this room, and maybe we can look behind that particular person, but we really want to be, is there any way you can get me on that or not? Set up the next couple of shots? No. With Wirecast? No. Okay, that's fine. So from a confidence perspective, we really want to be looking at this slide, and we see this guy. This guy's projecting confidence. What's he wearing? What's he doing? And who's he with? And so it's really quick. Let's just knock on to the next one. Thank you, Jack. Let's jump straight through. Just have a think about that. We just thought we'd throw up a couple more. Look at this guy. We think this guy's depressed. Look at his shoulders rolling forward. His head's down. His head's forward and arched. So we will project, even if we're not depressed, if our head's forward and our shoulders are forward, we will be read. It's how we read each other. We're going to be reading more of a depressed, sad, not happy state. And just the reality is, as human beings, we want to be around people who are positive, confident, enthusiastic, and that's part of managing first impressions. So if you're going to sit in this posture in your organization and someone you've never met before walks in, what's their first impression of you going to be? Even though the guy's in a suit, what's inside the suit is his body, and what's inside his body is emotions, and he is outwardly projecting through the body, through the suit, that he's in a depressed or a sad state. Thanks, Jack. Let's move on. So just looking at these pictures now, this one's a little bit hilarious because it's clearly a setup. The guy's clearly not angry. So if we have a look at this particular picture, we went looking for something that was angry. We found an iStock image that was angry, and here we go. But you can tell from this guy's posture that he's not actually angry. There's no redness in his face. There's no redness up his neck. There's no white in his knuckles. So he's got his fist clenched, but it's like, can you clench your fist, hold up your phone, open your mouth, lean forward? I think the guy's probably, how's he feeling? He's probably feeling a bit fun and enthusiastic in that picture. So can you see, realistically, I want you guys to throw in some comments. this guy is clearly an actor or model or something like that. What do you think he's actually feeling? Like, listen to your gut and comment for me on this anger slide. Tell me what you think the guy's feeling. If you were standing like that, I literally would be trying not to laugh. So I would be literally feeling probably quite funny. So we can't lie to ourselves. The body language that we're picking up, even from these pictures, even though we're trying to say, you can bring me back up, thank you. So even from those pictures, have a think about it. So go back to maybe that timestamp in the webinar, have a look at those pictures and say, look, it's really, really hard to lie about what's going on. And so when we start coming back to the topic today, which is mastering body language and the soft skills, mastering first impressions, we really want to be thinking about that. And it does sometimes start to become an issue where we need to actually train ourselves to start thinking and working from a normal operational perspective, how we control our body, we can control our mind. We control our mind, we can control our body. So if you can do both at the same time. So I want you to think about a couple of things. First thing is, I want you to think about your shoulder position. Enthusiast, I want you guys to be thinking about that, because you can tell. Bye.
Hold up. Oh, there we go. Something happened.
Happy?
There we go.
So, sorry, we've got an internet issue here where we're having trouble with our upload speed. So, shoulders back, we want to be almost overstretching it and making sure that every day when we get up in the morning, just overstretch your shoulders, have your stretch if you like, and open your chest up. And so that we do spend a lot of time hunched over. We want to be overstretching, even if you need to stand in a doorway, and start to overstretch so you can adjust your posture. And so shoulders back, chin up, and that's going to start to be projecting a more confident and more positive first impression when you see people, even if you need to check in with yourself. There's lots more that I can go into, and when we start to establish our Facebook group, we're going to be talking about shortly, I can help with all those sorts of things if you want to talk about that. The second thing I want you to be thinking about is your outfit. So we want to be thinking obviously about shoulders back. Just while you're listening to me for the rest of the session, just do some stretches and pull your shoulders back and chin up, and that's our posture, lifting our diaphragm, so that we want to be in that positive sense instead of the sad in the fetal position. We're in that fetal position and we're very rounded, where we're protecting ourselves. Because if you go back to the fight or flight, if you see somebody like this, you actually will trigger some of the carnal things about, actually, I could attack that person. And so we don't want that to be happening. More modern human nature is to say, well, how can I help you? Hand on the back, how can I help you? Because that's looking after the human race. But there are still individuals that are maybe still version 1 of humanity that will be in that, okay, I can actually take a more senior status in the tribe, in the pecking order over this. And so we want to be, be careful of the position that we're projecting, that we're strong, we're confident, we're happy, and then we're going to be passing what I call the shit tests that are going to get thrown at us all the way through. Because people are going to be testing your confidence, and they will test you with shit testing like kids do. Kids are constantly testing you, and in our household we call it a shit test. We're very open about it. It's like, you can stop that tantrum because we know that's just a shit test. I'm not going to break down. I'm going to show up the same. I'm going to be the same. You're not going to make me angry. I'm going to hang on to that, onto my emotions. I'm going to be emotionally stable for you as the kids, because we want to look after them. So, and the same with other people around us, particularly as we take on leadership roles. It's even more important to be managing our posture, and it starts with our first impressions. Okay, let's check out some outfits. Really quick information. We don't want to go into too much depth, but I want to ask you this question. So as we go into these outfits and we have a quick look at them, an authority in your given field, keen, enthusiastic, and willing to go above and beyond in the delivery of your product or service, intelligent, and more willing to open yourself up to new things. There are objectives of our first impression. So what I want you to be thinking about is, in your role, how should you be presenting yourself? Have you wrapped yourself appropriately to manage all the non-controllable emotional baggage that the people that you interact with are going to have, even on a day-to-day basis? Are you choosing to set yourself out? Your appearance right now is, and we talk about acting as if, or acting in our future state. Think about you coming and helping me and what my initial opinion is going to be of you in the outfit that you're currently in. Now, I want you to be an authority in your given field, keen, enthusiastic, willing to go above and beyond, and then intelligent and more than willing to open yourself up to new things. I want you to think about that. So let's go and have a look at some of these outfits that we've chosen for you. I'm going to ask the question, is this person an authority in their field? Our initial impression is, well, they may well be. You know, that may be the next billionaire, and you know, because they're a billionaire, they can choose to dress however they like. Is that what they're going to wear to a board meeting? If they're trying to influence people, if they're a billionaire, highly unlikely. Because we are carrying that initial first impression with us right now with this picture. We've got a half drunk, probably looks like a bottle of milk, or it could be a bong because the guy's been smoking marijuana. The guy's sitting on a couch out in the middle of nowhere. He's in a drainage channel, and you know, essentially he could invariably be a homeless man. I think again, we've scored a model, and the picture is clearly set up. But it's something that I want you to be thinking about just for shits and giggles. I want you to be thinking about your outfit, and is your outfit, what you wear, it's not the fashion of what you choose to wear on the weekend. This is about getting optimal results from what you want to do at work. If you're frustrated, if you're not getting the results that you want to get at work, you're not getting where you want to be, I can guarantee control your emotions, control your, you know, how you're projecting yourself and your posture, and control your outfit, and the other things will start to fall into place because you're being congruent with what you're trying to achieve. Okay, let's have a look at the next one, casual. This is a big problem, in my opinion, in modern workplaces. And so we're starting to see a bit of a trend being set in Western culture of t-shirts and maybe open shirts like that. Certainly I've been wearing jeans for 15 years and I must admit I've sort of fallen into that trap. But it's something that I want you to be thinking about is I would highly recommend be the best dressed or one of the best dressed people in the room, at work, at all times, or at the event that you're going to. It's fundamentally important. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. It's for everybody, even the guys in this room. It's something to consider. If you want to be influential and you want to be successful and achieve those goals you've set for yourself, be the better dressed person. It's not the fashion of the day. It's about sitting in and fitting into the culture of the group of people that you're attempting to influence. And how we choose to do that. We're seeing lots of people on Instagram saying, you know, you've got to wear the suit and the waistcoat, or the ladies have got to wear the suit and those sorts of things. That's probably taking a little bit too far, and we don't want you to be wasting all of your money buying really expensive clothes, but it's thinking about what's the most professional presentation that's suitable for the workplace or the team of people that I'm going to be working with today. I'm not talking about life, I'm not talking about the weekend, I'm not talking about going out on a Friday night or a Saturday night, I'm not talking about going to a family festival. What I'm talking about is this is about your work. This is about earning money for your family so that your family can get on with the goals, your household can get on the goals that you want out of life. You know, here in Australia, it's an 8-hour day. There's 24 hours in any given day for everybody. We've all got the same amount of time. I'm talking about tweaking a small part to make you as successful as possible. And I think that the casual trend, because we feel more comfortable, we wear casual clothes because we feel more comfortable. I want you to feel more confident. Now, I feel more confident when I wear a nice belt, when I wear a nice shirt, I've ironed the shirt, I've got clean jeans on, and I've got a beautiful pair of boots on. I feel more confident. And in fact, hard to do on the screen, but these boots that I wear, I feel more confident. And so I want you to be thinking about when you get ready for work, choose an outfit that makes you feel more confident, not feel more comfortable. Because what will happen when you go into the workplace is that you will then project that you feel comfortable. I don't want to work with somebody who just feels comfortable. I want the person that's sharp as a tack, best person in their field, committed, enthusiastic, efficient. Because if I have to hire somebody who's comfortable, I know I'm going to be wasting money. They're going to be ripping me off. I'm not getting an 8-hour day, I'm getting a 5 or 6 hour day because they're comfortable, they're cruising around. I want the professional that's a hard hitter that's going to maximize my return on investment. Your employer wants a maximum return on your investment. You want to be delivering that to them, deliver them value. Okay, let's talk about professional. So here we go. Obviously, it's a cliche, if you like, the professional presentation, and there are a lot of industries that are starting to lose suits. You know, they're going back to a more of a smart casual appearance, and where, you know, our industry is like that, with the workplaces that we work with, and maybe your particular workplace. But I want you to take a look at this particular slide and look at the people there. The lady up front, a jacket, a lovely blouse. The gentleman beside her to the left, sorry, to the right, you're right. I can't even work out if it's right or left. The gentleman to the right there, I can't even see if he's got a tie on or not. Now, it may be, he's got a tie, right. So it may be that he doesn't need to necessarily wear a tie, but we want to be thinking about what is just one level above everybody else in terms of the level of professionalism. And then we want to take that across into our personal hygiene. And that'll be a whole nother lesson. Be absolutely sure that you don't have bad body odor, or you haven't eaten something spicy, or your particular culture eats a food that might project from your pores of your skin a particular smell. And it has to be said, there are some individuals in the industry that we work in, other industries, that have a particular diet that means that they do have a smell that can be unpleasant to other people. And we want to be careful about that. What is my cologne? Even people that wear a lot of perfume or cologne, we want to be very careful that our smell is not obnoxious. And so we want to be really thinking about that. We want to be thinking, make sure that our outfit's not obnoxious. So, we've got obnoxious and professional on a spectrum. We want to be thinking about that. If you have chosen to go down the process of having tattoos and art on your skin, you want to be careful about the image that you're projecting. Now, you want to choose to project that, and that's totally up to you, do whatever you like, but people are going to carry a heap of emotional baggage, and there are some industries where that's just not acceptable for them to be on public display. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what culture it is. I'm going to say it now. There are tons of industries in many cultures around the world where people are racist and they're judgmental. And you are going to be choosing to be dealing with that. Work is hard work anyway. You're just going to be making your life hard for yourself by having those things externally projected in a culture where it doesn't fit. In some organizations, like ours here, it's okay. But there are a lot of organizations that we work with, that we sell to, where it's not. And so I have to be very careful with that delicate balance where I'm trying to have a successful organization and look after everybody, pay salaries, look after everybody's households, but I've got an issue that I've got to manage where I've got to deal with the customers that are going to be judgmental and they're going to be racist and they're going to be those sorts of things. So we have to be careful about the industries and choose very carefully. And it all comes back to 4 seconds. We've got 4 seconds literally. And so we need to be thinking about that. Okay, how are we going for time? We've got some time for questions. And we've also got, what I'll quickly do now while we're waiting for questions, you've got the comments there. Now's your time to ask me some questions. I've got a question for you. Has what I've talked about today, while it might not be new for you, has it got you thinking about some things that you can do to improve? Just a quick yes or no, let me know. Is there some stuff there that you think, yes, actually, I can improve on? What do we got there? Okay, so is there anything... is there anything you guys want some help with? But also, is this information, because I'm going to be doing a little bit more on this particular soft skills type of topics for you guys, I want you to be thinking about, and it's just going to be a bit of a summary and a bit of a reminder. So what we've set up for you guys, and we're going to start to grow a group, is we've set up a best practice mastermind. Now, what I do for my team here at Best Practice is we have a closed secret Facebook group where the team here at Best Practice interact with each other. We post pictures, we tell people what's going on, and it's my intention to start to grow a community of in between the webinars where you can reach out to me and we can have a community going on my walks. Sometimes on my walks in the morning, I'll post a small little motivational video to our team, and I thought, you know what, I can start to help you guys and do the same thing for you. Okay, so great. People have picked up some great pointers. David, in terms of making a good first impression with a joke, no, I don't agree, and I'll just tell you why I don't agree. If you want to project yourself as being a comedian, then that may be the case, but it could project that you're over-enthusiastic, and I haven't got a joke that I can get off and get a punchline out in under 4 seconds. So just in terms of using a joke to break the ice, of course. But if these are people that you've never met before, then I would be more inclined to say, hey, my name's Kobi. I work with a business that's called Best Practice. I really love helping organizations improve, if it's in a work sense. I really love helping organizations improve. What do you do? I'd love to learn more about you and what you do and what excites you and what you're passionate about. People love talking about themselves, and to set a good impression, I would probably be trying to elicit curiosity more than anything. And so, yeah, look, I've got a ton of great jokes. I've got a really good one from the other day. There's a lady, she's sitting with her clairvoyant, and they're looking into the crystal ball, and the room's dark, and the lights start getting dimmer, and then all of a sudden there's a clap of thunder outside, and the crystal ball goes dark. And then clouds start to emerge inside the crystal ball. And then inside the crystal ball, they see lightning. And the clairvoyant looks at the lady in the eyes, and she's got a deathly stare on her face, and she says, there is very, very, very bad news. Your husband is coming to a dreadful ending. Absolutely horrible ending. I foresee absolutely disaster, and your husband's going to die. And the lady who's talking to the clairvoyant, she leans forward, and she said, will I be convicted? So, maybe that's not appropriate. When I've got a bunch of great dad jokes, and we can drop those at an appropriate point in time. And if you get to spend any quality time with me outside of work, I've got a huge list of dad jokes. Like, hey, call up someone's house, is your refrigerator running? Yes, you better go and catch it. I saw 2 TV antennas get married. The ceremony was pretty ordinary, but the reception was amazing. I've got hundreds of them that I can unleash on you guys. And you guys might be having a chuckle right now because I am enthusiastic about it. But I think probably what's more important in a professional setting for the first impression, David, just a summary, is just think about how you can elicit curiosity in somebody. And so asking them about themselves, asking what they do, what do they do day to day? Can you tell me about, here's a great one. Can you tell me about a time can you tell me about a really positive time at work where you were in the moment where you went, I love my job. Tell me about that moment for you in your job where you just went, I absolutely love what I do. I love everything. For me, that's right now. That's why I do these webinars. I love it. I get to do it every month, when we run on time. And so for me, that's right now. And so you could say, well, tell me about that. How's that make you feel? What do you really enjoy about it? What do you do to help people? And so curiosity, that gets somebody talking. And the more you can get somebody talking, the more they will like you. And the more that you can then get off on a positive foot. And so being professional, projecting positive, confident posture, and then asking them about themselves is going to be a great way to start on a network with someone you haven't met before. Even somebody that you've worked with, but you maybe haven't spent time with. You might be doing an internal audit. You might be doing something to management training, those sorts of things. They can definitely be projecting that professional, enthusiastic approach. Okay, this question. Part of my job is how to talk to the workers. Absolutely. With any of your teammates, it's really important to be choosing professional presentation. The first impression that you set every day when you go out and talk to workers in an organization. Definitely something that you want to be doing in terms of projecting that professional presentation and thinking about, we didn't really touch on it today, but thinking about vocal tone. I'm going to actually save that for another session when we're communicating. I'm going to go through, we'll set up the next webinar, and I'll be talking about standing communication, and we're talking about vocal tone. I'll quickly touch on it now, where we put different vocal tone into our presentations verbally when we're communicating. We want to be really careful with how that's going to come across and the different meanings, particularly if it's not our native language. Now, what I've got for you is something really, really important to concentrate on. It's really, really, really exciting. And it's the way that we can project different vocal tone like I'm doing right now that builds momentum and builds enthusiasm, and more importantly, it builds tension in the conversation. And what we can be doing is we can say, I can help you. I can help you. And we can see that I can help you. That's a confidence statement. I can help you. I can help you. And so when we can start to say, well, hang on a minute, there's a question in there somewhere. And so we want to be very careful about how we're projecting our vocal tone. I'll do that in another webinar. We'll go really deep into that one for you. Okay. Hello to Montreal in Canada. Thanks, Jim, for joining us. Been a while, great presentation. Don't know if you mentioned this yet, but you only have one chance to make good first impression. That's exactly right. Jim, 3 to 5 seconds. The Harvard study that we're talking about today, it's 5 seconds. So yes, you've got 5 seconds to make a first impression. To summarize our objective of that first impression, Jim, we talked about it right at the beginning. So if you take some time to go back to the beginning of the webinar, in the first 5 seconds, there's literally no script that you can say, no set of words that you can say in the first 5 minutes that's going to get you anywhere. You've got to demonstrate in those first 5 seconds that you're an authority in your given field, keen, enthusiastic, willing to go above and beyond in the delivery of a product or service, and intelligent and more than willing to open yourself up to new things. And I think a passage that I read this week was like, you've got 5 seconds to demonstrate that you're confident, positive, sharp as a tack, and willing to do what you need to do to get the job done. You can't do that with a script. What you can do is you can manage your posture, you can manage your outfit, you can manage your look and feel and smell, your hairstyle, all those sorts of things to be just that little level above positive, little level above professional, so that you're projecting that positive image. And it's something I want. That's the piece of homework for everybody, is do a self-audit on yourself. And tomorrow, I want you to think, and if you need like a little tool to use, what would Kobi do? And that's been working quite well here at Best Practice, is what would Kobi do? Have a think about that. What would Kobi do? And how's he getting dressed? What's he doing this morning to get ready for work? Have a think about that. And if you need to ask the question, we've got this Facebook group. We're going to show a slide of it shortly. So are there any questions? Okay, perfect. So no one's got any specific questions. A great reminder, a great webinar. We're going to wrap it up. So let me quickly talk about the Facebook group. Best Practice Mastermind, there's no cost. It's only for our regular mastermind, our regular webinar watchers. We're going to basically start some more of this particular content that's a little bit tighter around the soft skills, and I can help you more closely and directly through the month. I'm going to jump into that mastermind group every sort of 2 or 3 days, and we're going to have you guys starting to help each other. So it's a Facebook group. There's this at the moment. That's the imagery. We've only just set it up. We're starting to add a few people in from Best Practice, and it's going to be a group of like-minded people in a community that we can basically start to be helping each other. And I'm going to jump in and post motivational quotes. I'm going to help moderate the group. I'm going to get one of our team here to moderate the group. It's all a very friendly environment to be able to be engaged with each other, helping each other on our professional journey and working together. Now, the adage that I'm using is, if we put 2 minds in a room, a third mind is created, and that's the mastermind. And that's the joke of the day, if you like, and that's the adage, is that that for us as a group of professionals that are going to significantly accelerate forward and be truly in control of our careers and our profession and help each other with the work that we do, it's going to be a great group to be able to work with. Okay, we've put, to give you guys a little bit of an incentive, there's no veiled sales pitch. It's going to be helping me to help understand what's happening with you guys and have more interaction. I've been using LinkedIn a lot with the personal messaging. So, I say in every webinar, find me on LinkedIn. Make sure you're connected with me on LinkedIn. Send me an invitation, and I can help you. So direct messaging. I check every night my LinkedIn messages, and I help people with specific questions. I obviously comment on all of the comments. So if you've ever watched a YouTube video of Best Practice and you post a comment, I can see all of those in an inbox, and I try and respond to everybody in every comment. This group is about a group of industry professionals that we're bringing together as part of Best Practice. There's going to be 2 stages. The first stage is we're going to be just running this Facebook group, which basically helping everybody. And then eventually over time, we'll move people into more of a coaching environment in our training academy, and that will be a paid service. So it's not, the Facebook group is going to be forever free. And then eventually we're going to have a paid subscription group. If you see some value, you might choose to move across into that. But I'll talk about that later on, and we'll talk about that later on in the group. But I'm going to be jumping into this group and helping you guys so that we can regularly be doing this. I'll be giving you like countdowns for when I'm going to do a live webinar or a live post. I'll post live any of the stuff that we're doing live into that Facebook group, so you can just go to that one place and get that. This PDF, which is going to be available, soft copy for you guys, which is our new series of guides that we're starting to release. I'm committed to a campaign of producing a little bit more of this written material and little ebooks for you guys. And it's basically mastering first impressions with the subtle art of body language. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of content just to go over the notes from today. And basically it goes with the webinar, and you can have a read through. There's a bunch of great links in there that Alexi has put together. And a huge thanks to Alexi and Jack for the panic that we've had the last 48 hours to get this webinar to run on time for you guys. It does talk about, there's a little bit of information about next steps. If you haven't seen it already, if we haven't spammed you with email from our system, we have got a lot of emails leaving Best Practice to help people with lots of content, is our ebook on developing a management system. And so we talk about the development and implementation and significant improvement of the core management system that runs any organization, not just an ISO standard. This is for any organization. And that, I think, I think the retail price on our store for that is about $200. I think if you can find some links, if you look around some of our social media, you'll find links to it where it's 50% off at $100 or $99, I think. So go looking for that link. If you haven't seen that ebook, that's that at the top of that slide. It looks like this up here. Go looking for that. It's a great book. This skill we've been talking about today plays into that. It plays into getting the most out of a management review, getting the most out of team training, getting the most out of leading and influencing the people around you in your organization. That's going to make you a better manager, a better leader, and a more attractive professional in your organization, more successful. Okay, so thank you everybody. Thanks for joining us this month. Like always, do me a favor, smash the like button on YouTube on any of our videos. The more likes we get, the more acknowledgement we get from Google, and our videos go a little bit further from an SEO perspective. Always comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. If I've said something that offended you, let me know that too. So that helps me control. If you said something you really like, you want me to double down on that particular content, let me know that. But the comments and the shares are what is helping us to help improve and follow our mission. And I need you guys as part of this family to help me with this. This is about inspiring improvement in 100 million companies globally. And the skill we've talked about today is a skill that every single professional at every single one of those 100 million companies can use. And I've got more skills and we're thinking about the skills for everybody in the organization, not just what we've been talking about the last 10 or 15 years, well, the last 15 years about ISO and ISO standards. And I get all these questions about what's 4.2.6 versus 8.3.5. You know, it's not about that. It's about nailing these soft skills and everything else will fall into place. So thanks for watching. Love doing this stuff. It's my ideal scene. It's like literally anchoring how I'm feeling right now, helping you guys with improvement, touching on some of those little things that sometimes we forget. Tomorrow, I wish you well with your power outfit. I wish you well with your power posture, and I wish you well with success. And if you want to post a comment, please go ahead and let me know what you thought of the webinar. But you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn, and my handle is @Kobi Simmat. You can Google me and find me on LinkedIn. Send me a connection invite or send me a direct message, and I can have a one-on-one personal conversation with you. And so I've got Ashley and Chris. I'll get Caitlin. She's off sick today. I'll get Caitlin to contact you guys and line up a session with you guys on Zoom or FaceTime, or even I'll come and see you guys. If need be, I think Ashley, I can probably come and see you directly, and I will spend one-on-one time with you. This is whatever you want me to help with for an hour. I'll help you with that. Any question? There's usually not really anything that's off limits. I'm a pretty open person. So thank you, Kylie. I've got plenty more dad jokes, lots more on the way. If you want dad jokes, maybe send me a friend request on Facebook, because there is literally a pile of my dad jokes on my Facebook profile. So thanks everybody. Direct message on LinkedIn, and we'll get in contact with you, Chris. So congratulations to Chris and Ashley. No coffee for me. It's done. I'll drink a little bit of decaf, one really beautiful coffee once a month, and that's me changing my diet. That's my health thing. So thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us again at our best practice webinar. I'll touch on vocal tone. I think that's going to be and communication, verbal communication next month. So look out for that one. Jump into the Facebook group. So you just send yourself a request to join the group. We'll post the link and we'll send it out to everybody that's subscribed, so you can join in that Facebook group and we can continue this conversation. I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts, and I'll show you how to do a few cool things in that Facebook group that are really going to help you succeed. Really safe place for everybody to start practicing some of these skills and getting advice, and we can all work together. So I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group. Grab yourself a copy of this, and if you haven't got that $99 download, the Management Systems ebook, please take the opportunity to grab that. It's a ton of our greatest content, and for $99, it's literally like, if I'm consulting with someone, I'm charging between $1,000 and $2,000 an hour, and you're getting most of the advice that I give for $99. It's ridiculous value. Whole bunch of videos in there as well. So I'll see you. Where will I see you? If I don't see you out on the road, I'll definitely see you next time right here on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.